Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Now recently I just got finished watching Superman yesterday, and this was my most anticipated movie of the year, to be honest. I just really got on board with how Superman was treated in the trailers, the teasers, the behind the scenes photos, and I just wanted to see this new take on Superman, since even though I liked Henry Cavill's Superman, his version of it was just not really what I expect from Superman. And I'll be honest, I was really impressed with what I saw yesterday, so I just wanted to get my thoughts out on the good, the bad of my criticisms, like what I think could be done better, and then overall give my opinion on the movie. So without further ado, let's just get into it. If I'm going to start off with the good stuff, I need to talk about the characters first. One, I really liked Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. I think that for what her scenes are in the movie, she's actually really good at her character. She mainly she just gets into a lot of conflicts with Superman over like what's going on in the situation with the two with well, I'm trying to talk without getting into spoilers here. But like, there's a conflict that's going on, and she has like a different view of what she thinks it could be compared to how Superman is. With him just saving lives, she just thinks of it differently, and it kind of makes sense that she would, since like she's a reporter, she has like different views on different things, and she just likes to question everything. And they talk about that later on in the movie, but I just like how it creates that kind of contrast between her and Superman, even though they're in a relationship, and it just seems cool to me. I don't know, I just liked it. And next thing, also, I wanted to touch on was how she and Mr. Terrific as well, because I'm gonna get to him as well. They were really cool as well. Like, I really like the scenes that they had together, and Mr. Terrific especially. I respect him a lot more now. I'll be honest with you. Like, it's not like as if I wasn't a fan of him before, but I'm definitely a fan of him now. Just seeing the scenes that he had in that movie. There is one scene in that movie that I really liked, and it reminded me a lot of the Guardians films. And in general, he was like one of the MVPs of the film for me, so I appreciate that. And then when it comes to other characters, like let's say the Justice Gang, Guy Gardner, I think even though he's kind of an asshole, he's kind of like, you still like his character for what it is. And then I think, to be honest with you, Hulk Girl I expected a little bit more from, because she didn't get much to do in this movie, but I think we're gonna see more of her in Peacemaker 2 anyways, so season 2 I mean. So it's fine though, it's fine. I mean, doing me wrong, she could have done more, but it's okay. With how much characters this movie has, I didn't expect it to go everywhere. And then you have Lex, bro. Lex Luthor is just a hater on haters in this movie. He is a top tier level hater. The amount of stuff that he does in this movie, it will genuinely piss you off at how evil this person is, and the amount of pettiness he has against Superman. I just can't comprehend that kind of stuff. Like how twisted he is with how. There's one scene in this movie that really pissed me off with how evil this person is as Lex Luthor, and Nicholas Hoult did a really good job. I'll be honest with you, and it just shows his range in acting, especially. So I was a really big fan of his character as well. But Ma and Paul Kent were actually really good as well. There was one scene in the movie with Paul Kent that I actually really liked, because he just felt really emotional, and you know, I kind of like that kind of stuff. Yeah, that stuff kind of like just makes me feel good in a superhero movie, so I like that. Then I guess we have other characters, let's say like the engineer. Even though she was okay, she didn't really, near the end of the movie, she didn't get like a lot to do, so it was fine. And then I guess the big thing we're going to talk about is Superman himself. When I think about this version of Superman, it is a straight up upgrade from Henry Cavill's version in every way. Like, no offense to that version of Superman, I love Henry Cavill's work. I just think he got messed over by the writing in his movies, and this just shows what his Superman could have been like if it had been in the hands of like a proper director and proper writers. And David Corenswet as Superman is just a straight up upgrade in every single way. The way he actually saves people in his fights, the way he doesn't prioritize the fights over saving people, just the way his personality is. Like, he has more personality than Henry Cavill's Superman ever had in his movies, and that is just a plus for me. I just like how much of an upgrade this version of David Corenswet is as Superman compared to Henry Cavill. Just straight 10 out of 10s for me. And if I'm going to be honest, it's one of those comic book movies as well where it's not afraid to be comic booky. Like, it takes a lot from what Superman's mythos has been from the comics, and As a comic book fan myself, I love it. I think it's amazing. It just fit a lot in that I really like. And there was a surprise like near the last 10 minutes of the movie that I was really surprised at, because I didn't think that they were included this early, but it had me shocked, I'll be honest with you. But yeah, as far as what I really liked about the movie, the characters were amazing. The action, the CGI as well. I know people criticize the CGI when the trailers were coming out. It is not like what you think. It is amazing. The action set pieces themselves, every action scene just feels amazing. It's like, it feels like how a Superman fight would be. And it's, even though it's not like how Man of Steel is, because Man of Steel is a different type of Superman fight. That to me felt like a live action Dragon Ball Z fight. This felt a little bit different, if you know what I mean. And the fish islands kind of helps in a way. But yeah, those are what I really liked about the movie.
Kal-El, no!
To be honest, I don't really have a lot of criticisms for this movie. I think it was really good and I enjoyed it. But if I was to point out what I thought could be done better, for starters, I just think that Clark Kent wasn't seen enough in this movie. It's mainly Superman being Superman in this movie, which I like, but the other side to Clark Kent, we didn't really get to see him that much. You only had like a couple of scenes. Because the way I think about it is this, like, you have Superman, who is like seen the majority of the movie. Then you have Clark Kent, who is like seen for like 5 minutes, maybe, of screen time. And then you have the third personality of him, which is like his real self, which is where like he bees around people who know him as both Superman and Clark Kent. So obviously his parents, and then Lois Lane. So I don't know, I just kind of thought we could have seen more of like that awkward glasses type of Clark Kent in the Daily Planet. I feel like if they're gonna do it, they're eventually gonna make a sequel on this, I know, but they need to include more of that. I just feel like that was something that I felt was kind of lacking. Alright, another thing I would say is there is one subplot that doesn't really get like fleshed out properly in the end. It just kind of, they didn't really get resolved, and I'm probably going to talk about spoilers here, so I'll have a time stamp where you can skip the spoilers. So what I'm talking about here is, in the movie, Superman's parents, they left him a message, and later on that message gets like completely restored, and they basically tell him to spread his seed around the world and like restart the Kryptonian race. And this has a lot of people turning on Superman, but the problem is this subplot didn't really get resolved in the end. They just act like it never happened, I guess. Even though like obviously Lex Luthor is seen as a bad guy in the end, it isn't really cleared up as to what that message like really meant, or like how, like, it just didn't really get resolved for me, and I felt like that was a missed opportunity. But that's gonna add into what I'm gonna talk about now. The pacing was really quick, I'll be honest with you. This did not feel like 2 hours for me. It felt like 50 minutes, and I'm saying that lightly because to me this felt like a TV show of like the 4th or 5th season. I don't know, that's just how it felt for me, because it threw so much at you, and there are so many characters to focus on that it doesn't really have a specific amount of time to focus on one thing for a set amount of time and then go on to another thing. Everything just kind of gets thrown at you like this. So I'm just kind of thinking like it was a little bit too bloated for me. And for a Superman movie, obviously, look, the thing is, they were establishing this new DC universe, and of course they have to throw in lore drops and just generally just get you invested in how things are now compared to what it was before. But I just felt like for a first movie they're doing a little bit too much, if you get what I mean. Like, let's compare this to Iron Man 1, because this is essentially what Iron Man 1 is for the MCU. Iron Man 1, when it was starting up its own thing, it had lore drops, but it didn't try to overstuff the movie. It had its own plot going on, and even though this movie still does have its own plot going on, because of how much characters are shown and because of how it has so many ideas that are getting thrown in, it's hard for you to actually process what's going on half the time. So I felt like that was something that could have been improved as well. And also, one final thing I would say is there are some emotional moments that just get undercut by the comedy in this movie. Like, I'm going to talk about spoilers again, so like I said, if you want to skip, there's a timestamp. But near the end of the movie where Lex is talking to Superman after Superman has his monologue, which, by the way, 10 out of 10 scene right there. But Lex has some type of like villainous like banter with him, but that gets thrown away as soon as Krypto literally uses him as a chewjoy and just throws him around like a ragdoll. And I felt like if that had just not been a thing in the movie and we just got to see more of what Lex would have said to Superman, I felt like if moments like that were kept, it would have made it a little bit more of a better movie. And I hope they don't stick with this kind of stuff, because the last thing I want is this to be is like a caricature, like a parody of what MCU movies are like, because a lot of MCU movies do that, and it's something that I'm not really proud of. So I don't really want to see this stuff in future DCU movies. But for what it was, I liked the scenes anyways, because at the end of the day, it's not like the MCU. They actually had good jokes this time around, so it's not that big of a deal, but it's something that could have been avoided, if you know what I mean. And I guess on the visual side, even though I did say the CGI for the most part was really nice, there are a couple of shots that look a little bit wonky, and I mean, this could have been for like a bunch of different reasons. Maybe the fisheye lens was a bit too much on other characters besides Superman, but that's just what I think. But yeah, those are my criticisms for the movie. So overall, if I had to give my thoughts on what I thought this movie was, it is a really good start to the DCU. And even though I think it isn't really a masterpiece, it's not perfect, it has its flaws, but it just reminded me of what Superman really should be. And in a way, this reminded me a lot of the Spider-Man movies, the Tobey Maguire ones, which kind of makes sense since they were inspired by the Christopher Reeve movies. But I just feel like it had a message to push, and that was basically, even though the world is in a really bad place right now, things will get better eventually. And it's just the type of movie that everyone needed right now. If that's kind of what I thought it was. And I just liked how hopeful the movie was, really. It cemented this version of Superman as one of my favorites. He's literally up there with Christopher Reeve right now if I had to rank them all. And I was a really big fan of it, and I want to see more of this version of Superman because I miss him already. And yeah, I just really think that they could build on this in future movies and just really expand it outwards and flesh everything out. And Marvel has some competition right now, but we'll see what happens when Fantastic Four comes out, which I will make a review on as well. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe for future content, and let me know your thoughts on this movie as well if for any of you have seen it. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace.